Welcome, Cosmic Creator. This is the first in a series of video essays on the topic of the tarot and the symbolism within the tarot. My name is West. I am an artist as well as a comic creator and writer, and I want to talk to you today about the symbolism of the tarot. This video series is not a video that is about divination, nor am I advocating for divination. However, what it is that needs to be understood from an artist perspective about what the tarot is. It tells the story of the human being. It tells the story of my life. It tells the story of your life. And through this video series, we're going to be exploring all the different ways that the tarot represents the different cycles of life, the different things it is that people go through in their lives, as a way to understand how to create art that has real meaning behind it. As somebody who teaches here on this channel, I find that there's way too much emphasis on technique and not enough emphasis on the spirit behind what it is that you're actually doing. What is the reason why it is that you're doing what you're doing? And the truth of the matter is that the deeper and deeper we go into understanding ourselves and understanding our own path and our own story, the more we are able to communicate that in whatever artistic medium it is that we are creating with. So this video series will be helpful to painters, to comic artists, to writers, to filmmakers, to game developers, to writers, whatever it is that you do. This will be very useful to you. And to make that point clear as I can possibly be, I will be also analyzing artists that have been inspired by the tarot or that use the tarot as a part of their creative process, to give you examples. So we'll also be looking at the way it is that the symbolism of the tarot connects with pop culture icons like filmmakers and musicians and painters. We'll be looking at the way it is that it connects with stories in the Bible, with different religious texts throughout history.
As we will discover in this video series, all of the Hermetic principles of manifestation are illustrated throughout the tarot. And by understanding these Hermetic principles, we can understand how it is that things go from the unmanifest world into our physical manifested reality. So by the end of this video series, we will have drawn a very straight line through multiple different disciplines to arrive at a more cohesive understanding of what the tarot represents. However, before we get started, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story about when I was living in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and how the tarot came into my life. It was September 19th of 2023, and I packed my bags up after my mother had just passed away and moved to Thailand. I came out here to clear my mind and to get a fresh start on my life after a pretty tumultuous last year or so after watching my mother pass away. I wanted to hit the reset button completely, and I had about 15 grand in my pocket in order to do it. I had gathered the money from doing medical studies, similar to how Robert Rodriguez used medical studies in order to pay for his film El Mariachi. I did experimental medical studies in order to pay for my trips around the world, but also in order to give myself a fresh start. And I had this idea that kind of came into my mind that what I wanted to do was I wanted to be a storyteller. I wanted to create comic books. So I decided that what it is that I would do was I would first adapt somebody else's short stories, a public domain short story from a famous science fiction writer named Philip K. Dick. Films like Blade Runner and Minority Report, Total Recall, or Scanner Darkly are all film adaptations of some of his best novels, but he's also been the major influence and unsung hero behind so many science fiction films it is that we love today, such as The Matrix, or TV shows such as Black Mirror. Philip had such a huge influence on the science fiction genre because, unlike many of his contemporaries, he was not somebody who was academically trained as a scientist, yet the science fiction that he wrote ended up being more accurate than what it is that somebody like Isaac Asimov wrote. While Isaac Asimov wrote these grand space opera epics that were about the possibilities of how technology could benefit humanity, Philip K. Dick was much more concerned about totalitarian control through technology. So I began to read through some of Philip K. Dick's short stories, and I came across one that felt like an episode straight out of Twilight Zone, and that was called The Hanging Stranger. The Hanging Stranger is a short horror story by Philip. In this story, we follow the character Lloyd, who is a everyday TV repairman on his way to work, and as he's driving to work, he takes a look out the side of his window, and he sees in a park that is nearby him that there seems to be something strange hanging from the lamppost. He takes a second look, and he can't believe what it is that he's seeing. It looks like as if it is a body. He stops for a moment, gets out of the car, and has to check for himself. There's no way that a dead body would be hanging from a lamppost in the town square where everybody else seems to be walking past it as if nothing has happened. Yet, he arrives on the scene to find that that's exactly what it is that has happened. A dead body is hanging from a lamppost in full view of everybody in the town, but nobody seems to care or pay attention to it. To me, this story seemed to encapsulate what it is that I felt as I was leaving the United States. I felt as if I was like Lloyd, as if I was trying to go about my day-to-day life, only to discover that there was something hideous that was right in everybody's face, yet nobody seemed to want to pay attention to it. Everybody wanted to live with their heads in the sand. After COVID had just happened, the world had opened up again, and I made my escape from the United States after realizing that there was something terribly wrong going on within my home country. Over time, the story has become more and more relevant to me as we've had more and more revelations about what it is that the elites are doing and how it is that they perform child abuse, how they traffic children, and how it is that nobody seems to get punished for it. And not only do people not get punished for it, but there is no mass protests. There's no uprising. There's no revolution that is going on. It seems as if humanity is in some sort of amnesic state, and these elites have taken advantage of that. They've created a system to where it is that they cannot be held accountable for anything it is that they do. Mankind seems to want to live with its head in the sand. It doesn't want to realize that there is a dark, sinister force that is manipulating us, that is using various forms of control, whether spiritual or material, in order to keep mankind in a sleep state. I won't spoil the story for you because I'm actually going to be doing another Kickstarter later this year with a fully re-illustrated book, but you can check out my current version on my Patreon. So one night, I am working on a comic book, and I decide to take a break and go visit a friend of mine who owns a chai tea shop that's not too far away from me. I jump on my bicycle, and as I'm riding to his tea shop, it begins to rain. And we have to cancel our dinner plans and instead hang out there until the rain passes through. As we're sitting there, I notice that he begins to play with some cards. He is shuffling them and putting them down on a table close to where I sit. I walk over to him and I ask him, "What are these? Are these playing cards?" And he says, "No, they're tarot cards." He then asked me if I knew what it is that they meant. So I sat down and I started looking at the cards, and because of my experience as an artist, I immediately started to notice a pattern. All of the cards seemed to be hinting at some greater story, some greater possibility within them, although at the time I didn't really understand it. But I could see clear patterns within the cards themselves. You had cards like the sun and the moon. You had cards that were contrasting in terms of their visibility, such as the Devil card and the Lover's card. It immediately caught my attention. And what was really strange is as I began to go through and I began to flip them down on the table and begin to give my thoughts on each of these individual cards, the storm itself seemed to be kicking up more and more and more. It seemed to be intensifying. It felt like as if I was summoning something. And then I pulled it. I pulled the 12th card in the tarot deck, which is called the Hanging Man. To say that I was shocked is a little bit of an understatement. Here I was looking at a tarot card that's had the exact same title as the comic book it is that I was illustrating. And what it is that I noticed as I began to investigate the meaning of what it is that the Hanging Man actually means is that it means the disorientation that one goes through whenever it is that they're going through a spiritual enlightenment. See, whenever we awaken, whenever we begin to awaken our deeper levels of consciousness, we begin to feel disoriented. We begin to feel as if we're seeing something it is that other people aren't seeing. And this seemed so relevant to everything it is that I was experiencing. It's as if, again, I had found something grotesque, something awful that was in plain sight in front of everybody, but nobody seemed to want to look and nobody seemed to notice. It was clear to me from this point onwards that in order for me to advance my understanding of art, in order for me to be able to teach art the way it is that I want to teach it, then I would have to incorporate the tarot into it. And this is the reason why it is that the tarot came into my life. And that's what's so interesting about this sort of topic is that you find that the closer and closer it is that you get to yourself, things seem to be magnetized to you and they come into your life and they come into your reality in a very strange and mysterious way. So in this video series, what we will be doing is we will be investigating the symbolism of the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. Now, if you're a tarot purist, you may wonder why it is that I'm not using the Marcel deck instead, since this is the original deck that has been popularized by Alejandro Jodorowsky, the filmmaker. However, this is not the tarot deck that came to me, and the topics it is that I want to explore that are connected to the tarot are more clearly illustrated in the Rider-Waite deck. The Rider-Waite deck was illustrated by an artist named Pamela Coleman Smith, and this tarot deck is interesting because it has had reprints of up to 100 million copies. To put that into context, most books don't even get 5,000 copies printed. Yet this specific tarot deck has had almost as many prints as the Bible, Alice in Wonderland, or Harry Potter. So this tells us that the images have resonated with human beings on a very distinct level, on a very DNA level, on a super consciousness level. Because of this, they're a perfect jumping off point to talk about other things it is that are directly related to the tarot. So throughout this video essay series, I'll be analyzing cards in sets of 2, and then each week there will be a new video that goes through and compares the cards, their meaning, the design of them, and we'll look at the overall artistic expression that Pamela expresses in the tarot to find all sorts of things it is that we can then take from this tarot and then apply them to our own work. Whether you're an artist, whether you're a visual artist, or whatever kind of art it is that you do, you'll find commonalities that can be applied to anything, because once you understand design principles, then those design principles can be applied across the board in any creative venture. So I just want to thank you guys for checking out this video. This was just a brief little introduction video. If you're watching this now and you want to see the first video, which covers the Fool and the Magician, it is now available on Patreon. For $5 a month, you can get early access to my videos. Otherwise, this will be coming out every Friday from here on out until we get done with the analysis series. Thank you for any support it is that you guys provide, even if that's just a like and a sub, and give me a comment and let me know what you think about my little story here. I will be posting the next video soon, and you can check out all of my links, such as my Parabola Visions art store. I also wrote a short ebook on my perspective on the connection between art and spirituality, which you can find as a link in the description box below. So you can find my art store, my free ebook, my Patreon, and social media if you want to reach out to me, all in the description below. Thank you guys, and take care.